on January 30th.
Greetings. I believe that the gate to the barn has been opened and the horse has bolted away to its freedom. If so, thanks be to God. What am I talking about? I'm talking about good governance. Very topical subject, especially now. The process has begun in St. Kitts and Nevis, whereby it appears that finally decades of bad governance and corruption will be ending. Remember, I said that the process has begun. It won't be an overnight thing. If so, the horse of good governance, which had been captured for all of these years behind the barn gate of bad governance and corruption, has escaped, and we the people must now ensure that this beautiful and magnificent horse of good governance remains forever free to roam this beloved land of ours in dignity and majesty. What a joy to an old man of 76, or to a young woman of 26, or to a child not yet born or even conceived. All we, the citizens and residents, have to do is to see to it that the package of good governance legislation that has been passed in our parliament since the general elections of August 5th, 2022, and the other legislation that is to follow, all of these are put to full and unmolested use. And for delivering this package of legislation, Prime Minister Drew and his cabinet colleagues and the parliamentarians who supported the legislation deserve our appreciation, as do their respective political parties. Dr. Drew and his colleagues also deserve our further commendation for demonstrating the will to put these acts of parliament into operation. I believe that he wants good governance. I believe that this can form a powerful part of his legacy as Prime Minister of this country, a legacy that can give him special, precious stature, not only among Kittitians and divisions, for now and for posterity, but also among the people of the region and beyond. One of the most famous and well-respected leaders in modern world history is a man called Lee Kuan Yew, who was the head of Singapore, a small country the size of St. Lucia. The size of St. Lucia. Smallness doesn't define greatness, doesn't restrict greatness. This good governance thing is certainly one thing that can usher Dr. Drew into the small pantheon of regional greats. In any case, I'm confident that with what has been done thus far, trying to recapture the freed horse of good governance will not at all go down well with right-thinking people of this country. The horse has bolted. Anybody who tries to recapture it and put it behind, inside the barn perimeter, is going to have a problem with the people of this country. With all of this, as I've said in a prior commentary, the next week or two will be of critical importance for us as an emerging democracy. Let me try to explain why I believe that the horse has bolted. First, the Integrity in Public Life Act. With the operationalization of this act, and with the advent of our new, apparently no-nonsense Director of Public Prosecutions, assertive steps have been taken to ensure that all public servants who are obligated to file their declarations of personal assets and liabilities do so by January 26th, which was last Friday. The vibe on the street is that a large number of these officials have not filed. Some of them in very high positions have allegedly claimed, interestingly, that they did not know that they had to file. But with their understanding that the DPP, supported in the process by the Attorney General and the Cabinet, is not making joke. It seems that the relevant officials, or most of them, have awakened to reality, and there's been a scramble to file. This is what I'm hearing. It only now leaves us to learn which of them have not yet filed, and when they will be served their papers to appear before a court and face charges. In my opinion, with the greatest of respect, those who have not complied ought to lose their jobs, quite apart from facing the court consequences of their non-compliance.
That was Dwyer Astephen in his January 30th, 2024 commentary. And as I mentioned earlier, he spoke about good governance and legislation that has been tabled since around August 2022. Good governance agenda that has been tabled. Now, some of the legislation include the anti-corruption bill. It says that the Federal Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis, or the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis, passed 3 bills, namely the Anti-Corruption Bill 2023, the Integrity and Public Life Amendment Bill 2023, and the Freedom of Information Amendment Bill 2023. These were passed on Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. The bills, which received the safe passage through the House, seek to further strengthen the Federation's good governance agenda. Some of the bills include the Unauthorized Disclosure of Official Information Act and the St. Kitts and Nevis Whistleblowers Act 2023, and all of this is a part of good governance. I keep saying, if we really want good governance, then it is something that we have to support. Of course, not blindly, because at the same time you must be able to scrutinize and look at it and really ask the question, is this good governance? But wanting good governance is more than just saying, we want good governance. But whenever the rules and regulations are laid out, then we completely ignore them. And it goes right back to calls that have been made by the Director of Public Prosecutions for people to file their declarations. If you are in support of good governance, then you must understand that you have a role to play. But I think it is really great that these legislations have been laid out, have been put in our parliament, and the parliamentarians, those who did, have supported these legislations. We've been speaking about the fact that our people yearn for good governance and yearn for a corruption-free country, a corruption-free government, and I'm pretty sure you have asked yourself this question, or perhaps whenever you're having a conversation within your own circle, you've asked your friends and colleagues this question: are we ever going to get to that point? And when I say are we, St. Kitts Nevis, the Caribbean, the world at large, are we going to get to the point where it is corruption free? Because unfortunately, and this is the blunt truth, we're human beings. But it does not mean that we shouldn't put systems in place to prevent people from being greedy and to prevent people from abusing the power. It doesn't say that we shouldn't put systems in place to protect the integrity of the country. It doesn't say that. It is 12 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour, and you're tuned into The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me in the program for today. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll get right into the discussion. The phone lines will be open, and so you can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Skenator, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Capture the hearts of your customers with our exclusive 30 seconds promotion package just in time for Valentine's. Whether you have a charming restaurant, a delightful gift shop, or a trendy spa, we've got the platform to share your Valentine's Day specials. So act now to reserve your spot and stand out from the crowd. Call ZIZ at 465-2621 today, because love is a journey and the first step begins with your business.
Hey children, I am Shalissa Catalia Caesar. Join ZIZ Radio every morning at 7:05 from Monday to Friday and Saturday from 9 to 10 for Totally for Kids. Wake up and be a part of the action.
Yes, you can now. You can do anything if you try. Oh, just try. Oh my.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me on the program for today, Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. We are also live via ZIZ TV, ZIZ YouTube channel, and ZIZ Facebook page. You're listening to The Edge. I'm Devonne Cornelius. If you're just tuning in, we are on the topic of good governance in St. Kitts and Nevis, and earlier I played an audio from Dwyer Astephen speaking about good governance and legislations that have been tabled to support good governance, including the unauthorized disclosure, or not just tabled but passed, the unauthorized disclosure of official information Act, the St. Kitts and Nevis Whistleblowers Protection Act, the Anti-Corruption Bill, the Integrity in Public Life Amendment Bill, and the Freedom of Information Amendment Bill. Bills and acts before the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis. Phone is open and we are welcoming your calls. We have many callers. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, Mr. Good morning to you, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
All right.
Remember yesterday morning I spoke about Mr. Harvey back in the ship, and a gentleman had me well told off. I'd like to know from him if he can please apologize to me, because I knew it was Mr. Harvey was going to dock the ship. Because Mr. Harvey, not the first person, it had one named Mr. Nigel. He docked a ship already. So everybody is congratulating Mr. Harvey doing a splendid job. You have a pleasant morning.
All right, Colin. Thank you for sharing that. We are not on that topic for today, but thank you for sharing that. Today we are speaking about the good governance agenda and legislations that have been brought before the National Assembly. And earlier I played a clip from Dwyer Astephen commenting on that. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 465-2555. We have a caller. Hello, caller. You're there.
Good morning, Devonne.
Good morning.
Yes. I too welcome the legislation, the suite of legislation that has been passed, and there's definite progress towards Operation Horizon now. Okay, that was what was lacking in the past, because we know that it's been in the works. Legislation and so on has been in the works for some time. But there was always an excuse not to implement, saying things like these things take time, etc., etc. Right? It was almost like pulling teeth to implement. So yes, we have made serious progress, I think, this time. I would not become complacent, though. We should not become complacent.
Right.
Okay? Because, as we well know, we can find loopholes for lots of stuff, lots of laws. Okay? And straight off the bat, for instance, I can think of what happened with, in the previous administration with, was it Sinanan? It was a DPP or something, right? I think he was a DPP.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And essentially what happened there is that he was essentially paid off. His contract was terminated or negotiated to come to an end, and he was essentially paid off by the Treasury of all things. And normally, if we had good governance legislation in place, I don't think that could have happened. Okay, you can't have a clause saying that, well, a non-disclosure clause with public money. If you see what I mean, those two things are contradictory. And that is what happened there, right? We don't know how much he was paid, and that should not be. You know, every cent of money, taxpayers' money, should be accounted for, right? And so there is always ways of getting around these things. And as a friend of mine told me yesterday, essentially the government the executive is the one who pays the salaries of all these officials that are involved with the suite of legislation, okay, who are supposed to be the watchdogs, the oversight people. And that in itself, you know, is cause for at least some, I wouldn't say concern, but certainly it should give us pause. Right? Yes, because, I mean, it was a previous speaker who made the point that even though you have all the branches of government that are supposed to be separating the judiciary, the executive, and the parliament, right, the government pays their salaries. A speaker made mention of that. And so you see the pressure that can be brought to bear on these officials. So we have to keep an eye out still. So
it brings me back to that conversation I had the other day about the protect your mortgage syndrome.
Exactly.
Yeah, I pay your salary, so hush.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we have to watch out for things like that. Right? Can this suite of legislation, for instance, prevent something like $22 million just vanishing from or being able to be traced from Development Bank? Can it? You know? And if the answer is no, then obviously we're nowhere near where we should be in terms of legislation like this.
All right.
Okay? So yes, we have to be, it's good progress, but we have to be watchful, and we have to make sure that implementation happens, and everybody who is concerned with the oversight and so on are doing the jobs. Okay.
All right, Colin. Thank you for your contribution to the program. You're listening to The Edge. We have more callers on the line. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. And you?
No. Yes, that you had played just now.
Sorry?
The guest that you had played just now. The person that talked, Mr. Astafan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did not hear him say if the ministers then will have to what is the word be? The assets?
Declare their assets?
Yes, I did not hear him say if ministers, God them is the culprit to say.
Yeah, they have to declare their assets as well.
Because you know, I remember hearing him say that people who work it, because he had a big and bad minister, nobody don't go ask him nothing. Anyway, I want to speak about yesterday, right? You hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Okay. First before speak, Mr. Bradley around? No?
No, he's not in today.
No, but he around working?
Yes.
Okay, because I really want to wish him all the best because he was a good host on the program. I don't know about you yet. But yesterday about 5:30, I went to see the boat, right? And when it leaves, it was so pretty to see. When the purple lights going down, when he going down by the memorial, and he put all the purple lights, it was wonderful. In the next 2 years, God spare life, I would like to see the other one come. And if the pier was just good for this one, but just a little was off, so the other one might fit it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Colin, thank you for your contribution to the program. We have another caller on the line? Let's hit this call. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Thank
thank you. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Oh, I didn't expect you to be here today on the radio.
How come?
Because I understand you get a job on the icon to be a chef. And the way you like to eat, you don't come fat. Anyway, yeah, back to the topic, you know. I heard the commentator saying best wishes to the Belgium that pass. But there is no country on this planet here. Government did everything 100% correct. Some deliberate and some by mistakes. That's the last night on BBC I heard a former Prime Minister for Pakistan, he get 10 years in jail for leaking classified information where he not supposed to do it. Why is it the DPP gave them a deadline for them to declare, to file the declaration, and some of them hasn't done it as yet? That shows they not intend to do it. And so there is where problem will come in. So we want to know now if the DPP got them load up heavyweight chat and no action will come behind the heavyweight chat, because talk is cheap in other one, but action costs energy. So we can see, because they should have done the clear even before he tell them, he give them a deadline. And brother, people could say, well, come out and smile and say, things is good, but things ain't when you go in, you can see for yourself. And when people gonna point one finger at an object, three is pointing back at them, but it's only the thumb finger stopping them from choke out the eye. When people gonna criticize people, they must clean the eye first. Because I know a lot of people get on radio and they criticize this and they criticize that. But when you look in the backyard, they themselves doing wrong thing and have done wrong things by hiding things that they know are illegal. They just come out and make a little blow and they done with it, then they pursue it to clean it up, now nothing. So,
all right.
Go ahead, say something.
All right. Well, we want to take some more calls, so, so quickly wrap up your contribution. Let's take this call. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And good morning to the listeners home and abroad. Carl Brown here. So, I would like to touch on the visit of the Iconic yesterday.
Okay, make it brief because we've already moved on from that topic.
Oh, okay, well, brief. It was good for them to come here and things like that. But what I observe is that the carnival atmosphere that we put on for them for just a few hours, if we could have that carnival atmosphere during our carnival, during the daytime, our carnival will be bigger and smaller when the road march with. So our advice to them, just like how you put on that huge carnival atmosphere for the Iconic guests them, our carnival coming up this year during the daytime, we hope we will see that large carnival atmosphere so people could have a function, some functions to attend during the days of the carnival.
All right.
One other thing, on the DPP again, right? Remember, the past DPPs, them, as soon as they get the job, they have a lot of good ideas, they have a lot of good suggestions, they're talking about all kind of laws and things. And as I said yesterday, that the DPP is not responsible for making laws. They are responsible to see that the laws is carried out by the authorities that the law is given to carry it out. So just on that for the DPP, because he's talking sharp and fast. And we are accustomed to that, eh? We are accustomed to that. And then we don't see now hear nothing of them again. Are gone.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. It is 11:30 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Edge. I am Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll take this break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation for today. Stay tuned.
of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Get ready to ignite your Tuesday nights with a show that's as educational as it is entertaining. Welcome to Pleasure Pulse, your weekly guide to the world of sex education. Join Roma every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It's the perfect way to spice up your midweek routine and get answers to all your burning questions. Whether you're looking for relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. only on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
Welcome back to the program. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. We'll take a pause on the calls. Now, with regards to the commentary shared by Dwyer Astefan earlier, where he made mention of public officials. Public officials covers everybody. And when I say everybody, people who hold public office. So it wasn't a case where he necessarily had to say minister this, minister that. If you're a minister of government, you are classified as a public official. If you are a head of a ministry or a department, you are classified as a public official. The DPP himself is a public official. He's the director of public prosecutions, and so he too has to make his declaration, has to declare his assets as part of the legislation. Now, tomorrow is Thursday, February 1st, 2024, and that is a very significant date, a very important date for the for the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So we'll stand by and wait to see what takes place tomorrow. We can't predict because we don't know. But tomorrow is Thursday, February 1st, 2024. If you're just joining the conversation, we're talking about good governance and legislations that have been tabled to support good governance. A caller earlier made the point about loopholes in some of these legislation. And at times, people are aware of the fact that this particular legislation, this particular law, has a loophole. There is a way for you to wiggle around and, avoid being prosecuted or avoid the penalties or whatever. And they are aware of this. And that has long been an issue. And the question on the table is, have attempts been made to address loopholes in pieces of legislation? Or is it a case where we know that these loopholes exist and we ignore them? That should not be. Because if that is the case, then there can't be good governance. There can't be good governance. I think it is a great thing for these legislations to be tabled. I've said that before and I'll say it again. But what needs to happen, not suggesting that it is not, what needs to happen, or what needs to continue rather, is enforcement of these legislations. So we put this in place and we said this is what we'd like to do. You don't just put it there, but allow it to work. Allow it to work in the best interests of the people. Allow it to work. It is 11:35. You're listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I am Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. The phone lines are open. It is 11:35. We'll take some more calls. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Devonne.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Yes, first, I want to thank God for life. Thank God for the Federation of Synthetic Movies. And if we had honest people in our politics, like the beginning, Devon, I believe our country will be number one in the world. But we let government after government, and we really let that is just lie and deceitfulness. No, Devon, but I just trust and hope this integrity and this government put in place, I endorse everything that they do. But I hope this thing continue and go further. You understand what it is, Devon? Because so many government after government, this integrity law was there to pass, and because of whatever politician want to get themselves corrupt into, even pass. And I believe that the integrity in public life will pass, and transparency in government and all these whistleblower things pass before. I believe project like the Valley project, we as citizens of this country and the parents of this country, we don't know where the money gone. And other different projects like the Beacon Heights, like the millions over the Marriott, and different place where government money went, and we, the ordinary man and woman, know about. I believe if this integrity in pass, I believe that the country will be one top of the world country, and the economy will be strong, and we now got so much a problem, and we hospital, we school, and everything will be secure, we police officers will got the good equipment to work, the federal big age will got the equipment to work and everything, and I believe everything will go here. So I endorse this government now with what they do, with this integrity in public life and whatever laws they come to make politicians and public officials,
all right,
pay the penalty for what they do when they do the wrong thing. Whatever they do wrong.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. You're on the air, caller. Good morning.
Yes, me again. I want to ask a question. The asset is for because remember they just gone into government.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The asset, what they have to do to it?
Declare, yes.
Declare. It's for them before they get into government because they just gone into government.
It's for all public officials. Whether you went in
before or after?
After. It's for all public officials.
Thank God for that.
Yes.
And what I want to say, I was hearing that the boat was charging $150 to go on it, and you do what you have to do, dine and so. No. I don't know if you know, but
I don't know about that.
No, the money was for government.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
I can't verify it.
Yeah,
all right, Connor. Thank you for your contribution to the program. So the legislation is there's no focus on ministers of government. The focus is on public officials. All right. Public officials. So if you're a permanent secretary, a department head, it applies to you. It's no focus on whether you are in government or not. So people who are out of government and are just a member of the parliament, they too have to file their declarations. It is for all public officials, and there was a list issued as to who the legislation recognizes as a public officials. We have any callers on the line? We do. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, caller.
The only politician I know of ever clear the asset is Lindsey Grant.
Okay. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call.
Yeah, Devon?
Yes.
Right. In anything man-made and set up on this out here, you must find a loophole. And I want to know how the DPP gonna know if the little bit of declaration that some people declare if that is all. How far are he going with that? Because you know, when people are doing wrong, they find ways and means to hide certain things. So therefore, there's going to have to be a lot of long investigation to find out them. Because I know for sure, a good friend of a friend who in public office, when I was living in Miami, that friend carry me and show me 2 assets of the tell me they belong to
All right. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. We have any more callers on the line? We don't. It is 11:40. Thank you guys so much for joining the conversation. If you just tuned in, we are speaking on the topic of good governance and legislations that have been tabled. So yes, the legislation is for public officials. It is not targeted for just a subgroup or a subset of people, or just ministers or whatever. It is public officials. If you're a member of the parliament, working government in a high position, it applies to you. But the issue of loopholes and law enforcement, and when I say law enforcement, I'm talking about the legislations and ensuring that they are enforced and ensure that it applies to everybody. And so if you do wrong, you serve, as there's a saying, if you do the crime, you serve the time. And it should not be selective. From the time we're going to be selective, and I am not suggesting that we are, but from the time we're going to be selective, then we can't. We ain't ready yet. We're not ready. But definitely, when it comes around to these things, we cannot be selective, and we it needs to apply to everybody across the board. Let's head back to the phone line. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I would like to ask you that belongs to preachers and certain pastors.
No. You're listening to the Edge here at ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call.
Yeah. Good morning again. One of the things that I've noticed is that 2 very key pieces of the good governance have been left for the last. I don't know if that's coincidence or it was intentional. And the 2 that I'm talking about are the procurement processes, right? The laws governing that.
Okay.
And the freedom of information. Okay? Those are key pieces that have been left out. And I don't think it will be complete unless you have those 2 things in place. Okay? Because obviously that's where a lot of the problems we've had in the past lies. One, access to information. You don't get information. Okay? Government keeps it close to the chest. And there's no way of accessing it, whether by the press, by the public generally, okay? And in the absence of that, all kind of rumors fly. Normally, people would say, where there's smoke, there's fire. But the fact is, all kind of disinformation and misinformation goes out there, and it's not counted, okay? And it's not verified. That's where the press comes in. Right? And so that definitely, absolutely needs to be tightened up. Okay? And certainly too, a lot of the procurement stuff, I mean, even now there has been issues surrounding that. Okay? That it's not a transparent process as it should be as yet. And so that absolutely needs to be tightened up as well. And the final thing is the length of time. We talked about loopholes, what can happen is that you don't bar things like access to information, you don't bar like any other information that you want access from government, but what you do is extend the time. You draw it out. And even though there might be redress in the courts, in the court system, for instance, even that can be drawn out. Okay? So those are things you also have to watch out for. Like I said, you know, there are lots of loopholes. You can find all sorts of things to get around stuff. And that is why commitment more than anything else is going to be important. You know, you have to be committed to it and not just doing it for cosmetic reasons.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution. To the phone lines, we'll take this call. The caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. May I speak?
Yes, caller, go ahead and make your contribution.
Something an observation this time rather interesting and amusing. So usually the problem of the back to high school and the kids in ways until eventually they were taken out. But when there's a government building and the company of more, in no time they move them. The Horizon, they had a problem with more, they moved them. The courthouse, they moved them. But when it was the high school, they kept them there for such a long time. And this just raises a question of exactly, you know, how we look at our people and the protection. Is there someone superior or someone inferior? That school has problems for a long time. All kind of debate and discussion they keep still there. But the moment there's a couple of more in a public building, and there are many examples, bam, they move them. Thank you very much.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation here on The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Stay tuned.
Watch the creeper. Look out! Look out! This is it! Something new, something fresh, something exciting! Jump on show on ZIZ Radio with the man Chico. Yo! Every Monday to Thursday, Chico will be in the house with the 3 to 6 minutes. So tell your neighbors, tell your friends about this exciting show on ZIZ Radio, the Jump Off Show. Every Monday to Thursday, 3 to 6. Don't miss it. While the others give you some, we give you more. Right here on ZIZ Radio. Watch the creeper.
Hey children, I am Shalissa Catalia Caesar. Join ZIZ Radio every morning at 7:05 from Monday to Friday and Saturday from 9 to 10 for Totally for Kids. Wake up and be a part of the action.
Yes, you can now. You can do anything if you try. Oh, just try.
Join us every Wednesday for In Focus, a weekly talk show produced by the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service, where we provide exclusives with key persons within the government and discuss pertinent, relevant, and interesting matters that affect us all. Tune in every Wednesday, live on ZIZ Radio and streamed live on Facebook at SKNIS Media and ZIZ Online. In Focus, your government, your business.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. That is our overseas number. It is about 11:50, 10 minutes left before we wrap up the conversation, just in time for our midday newscast. Do we have any callers on the line? We do. Let's take some more callers. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. Let's hit this one. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good
Good morning, Devonne.
Yes, good morning.
And how are you?
I am fantastic.
I someone here me attorney, the poor people attorney to find out if the Muslim Prime Minister went over Nevis to talk to the Honorable Daniel. We want to know what's going on there. Questions is to be answered over there. Now, Devon, yesterday was a historical site in Bastille where the big cruise ship was docking and patching spear. And it took the United States to send a federal group to take it coming in and shock nationals in the Virgin Islands. As there is a fair to that in the country. You see what going on? You see how you see how they think? You see how they think? But you can't expect too much present into the hole like the screw. Now Devon, the DPP, we won't pay rubber stamping with this thing, you know. Because if a man don't run stuff in the man of your tongue, and elsewhere in the country, poor people, children, if they bother around and take up something, they're going in the court. So they will do the right thing. Come up to this, too long. Man being taking advantage of us. And he got to stop. Otherwise something will make it stop. Anyway, Devon, we don't want to carry on here. Just here, give me back a rich doctor. We don't want no, and we don't want no, and we don't want no tyrants on ya. Just here. Have a good day, Devon.
All right, Colin, thank you for your contribution to the program. You're listening to The Edge. We have another caller. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, Devon, again, politics again. Now, Devon, it is why I'm so passionate about the integrity in public life, right? You know, back in 1995, when the Labour administration, when the government, they call a commission inquiry, and nobody at all get thinking, you must millions of dollars miss up and down the place in government thing, and nobody at all get nothing against it. And these things that they make me grow but a taxpayer in the country. Now the unity administration leave artists too. And the same thing we hear, this amount of $1 million misplaced and miss this and miss that. So that's why I'm glad this thing introduced to make all those in public service, you know, be accountable for whatever, and give the assets or whatever they got. Because, you know, these things is backfiring from the country, backfiring from the other man and woman, and I say that. I endorse it, and I will glad it happen that way. So let me see if everybody going to treat it now in government. And I just want this, the DPP doing work, you know, as a professional, you know, as you say. I love my country, and I want to see who is in government do well for the people of the country.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. It is 11:53, and you're tuned into The Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. We have a caller.
Yeah, Devon.
Yes,
Devon, yeah, a bill has passed about public information. Well, why is it the Prime Minister keep hiding the answer to the question being asked for months now? How many CBI passports is signing on? Look at he start right there, he don't start to hide things. We're supposed to know. Some people come talking about that could be private information. Nothing private with the public. The passports are our assets, and we want to know, and he keep ducking and hiding it. So that tell you already. Loophole and start to dig. Have a good day, Devon.
All right, thank you for your contribution to the program. We're taking some more calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. If you're just joining the conversation, we are on the topic of good governance and legislations that have been tabled to support good governance here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And earlier I played a clip from Dwyer Astefan, who gave a commentary on Tuesday about good governance in our country. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you to the callers for your contribution to the program. I always look forward to your feedback and views and opinions on the different topics at hand. We have any more callers on the line? All righty. I think we can take 2 more when they come with the 5 minutes that we have left. So just to wrap up the discussion for today, good governance. We cannot continue to say that we want good governance and we're not willing to do what it takes to ensure that there is good governance. We have these legislations that have been tabled, that have been passed, the unauthorized disclosure of official information in case of Nevis, Whistleblowers Act. We also had bills such as the Anti-Corruption Bill 2023, Integrity in Public Life Amendment Bill, the Freedom of Information Amendment, and I have to emphasize amendment because amendments were made, and these were passed in the National Assembly on February 22nd, 2023. And again, the bills which received safe passage through the House seek to further strengthen the Federation's good governance agenda. Good governance agenda here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Before I wrap up this conversation, of course, I always like to leave a motivational quote with you to take you throughout the course of your day. You can do anything if you try. I always try my best to encourage the listeners to keep doing what you're doing if you're doing something positive. So let me say that, if you're doing something positive. If you're doing something bad, then I shouldn't be encouraging you to do. So if you're doing something good, continue to do that. If you're helping people in your community, if you're looking out for the less and the needy, continue to do that. But if you know you're bad man and you're doing stupidness, you must stop it. Alright? You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I've been your host, Devonne Cornelius. Until next time, you guys, stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Take your time on the road. Y'all have a good one. Take care.